Welcome back to Roland's Travels. I hope you enjoy this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do click the subscribe button and the notification bell. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be the first to know. So today we're in Calne. It's a small town in Wiltshire, a growing town, but part of it is extremely old, and this is the Heritage Quarter. So we've left Castlefields, where the Wiltshire Barks Canal can be found, or at least the remnants of it, and we're now walking down Patford Street, so take in the views, and I'll let you know a little bit more about Calne as we walk through it. We've got some very interesting old buildings along here. So we come back towards the centre of town. It's the library on the corner. On the area over there that the Harris meat factory once stood and dominated the town. Now this is the Calne Town Hall, which opened in the year 1886. Here is the Lansdowne Strand, a 16th century coaching inn, and once the home to a medieval brewery. Now many of the buildings that you're seeing in Calne, have seen so far, go back a long way. The Lansdowne Strand Hotel or Inn is certainly one of the oldest, but many of these homes here are 18th century, so incredibly old properties. Many of them of course are listed and therefore can't be demolished or altered too much. Well, we've now crossed the A4, that's the road that runs from Bristol through to London, so it was a busy coaching road, hence that's why the Lansdowne Inn over the road there was a coaching inn. We're going to take a look now. This is the River Marden, and on our left, we swing the camera round, is the new library that's built on the site of Harris's factory. That started in the 1770s as a butcher's shop and moved on to being a huge factory employing 2,000 people. It was demolished in 1984. Having been closed for a few years. A little further along on this road, this is Church Street, so we've now coming to the main church, Church of England, St Mary's. This is on the left coming up. You see some of the buildings on the right, a mixture of ages there, but many of them again going back 100, 200 and more years. We're going to see some really old ones in a short while. So this church, there was a church on this site, definitely in 1066, so we'll be finding out more about that as we go along. A little bit about it. It was built in the 12th century, so it opened in 1160. It's had additions, of course, over the years. If you go into the nave, the actual roof in there is 15th century, so built in the 1400s. So a very old church indeed. Now we're turning into Kingsbury Street, so you get another view of the side of the church that dominates this area. Coming up on the right now are Dr. Johnson's almshouses. They were built in the year 1650. They are still lived in. They are a charity for single persons, and they are divided into 4 one-bedroomed flats. So just look at that. Nearly 400 years of history there. I wonder who's lived in those properties all that time, what stories they could tell. We're now working our way up to the green, so we'll just take a little bit more view of these wonderful almshouses on the right hand side, and then we'll enter the green. As you go around the Heritage Trail, you're going to find information boards which explain much about the walk that you're on, which makes it interesting, and that you'll be able to see old buildings like this, former industrial buildings, also schools. In this area was the very first school around here. It was in 1662 when John Bentley set up the John Bentley School. It was the first of 5 schools that surrounded the green. And we had a school in Calne right up to 2019 called the John Bentley School. It's now been renamed the Kingsbury Green Academy, and this area was the Kingsbury Green, originally owned by the church, where they would have an annual fair on this green. Beautiful houses, and you might recognise 1 or 2 would have been schools when you look at the shape of them. As we head to this top corner of the green, we're going to take a walk into Horsebrook. Now down in Horsebrook there was a mill at the bottom, and the River Marden flows back round, and we'll be able to see that in a moment. But coming up on the left, you're going to see the building with the sort of V-shaped roofs in a moment. There we are, there's a sign for Horsebrook. So a bit of an industrial look there, and it was, because it was Maundrell's foundry was here from the 1850s, closed in 1957. It then became an engineering company into the late 1990s, and that kind of building you see now on the left is what's left of sort of industrial look, but they built new houses down there. Many of the older properties along this road have been demolished over the years and have been placed new ones, so we'll miss those out, and we'll get to the bottom of the hill, and here again is the river. And of course, in days gone by where there's a river, you could build a mill, and Swaddon's Mill was down here. On the right is the cycle track that takes us all the way to London if you wish, and back to Bristol the other way. Now I've gone back down to Church Street, retraced my steps to the church, and now we're going to have the church behind us and take a look at the properties going up the rest of Church Street, which takes us out eventually to the top of the hill and rejoins the M4 and the other corner of the green. Still a couple of buildings left as commercial shops, restaurant of course, or a takeaway there. You can see the beauty of the stonework that you get, and some very nice interesting terrace properties. So now we've almost gone full circle. We're going along what was the wharf, where the Wiltshire Barks Canal would join the River Marden, and then the barges will be unloaded. There's the old water pump, that's on the trail, and there's the bridge that crosses the River Marden. So if you come to Calne, do this trail. Across the road is the museum, so if you come along when that's open, you'll be able to learn more about this area and the history of Calne generally. So this is the wharf area. Not much left in the industrial look, but it's very nice to come along here, perhaps sit and enjoy a few moments. And there's a museum across the road. Well, thank you very much for joining me on my travels. As I've said before, if you're not a subscriber already, please do consider subscribing. Look forward to you journeying along with me. And so it's Roland saying goodbye for now.